Guardian is such a powerful publication that it can influence MI6, it can influence international, intelligence agencies, and it can make a decision for New Zealand to leave. The impact of Sunday Guardian is phenomenal. I compliment the team. Now coming to the logic of it. Look, who is Shahid Afridi? This person is a known nefarious element. I would not call. I limit my, I limit my nomenclature to that. You see, look at his grandfather. His grandfather, he comes from Afridi tribe. His grandfather got a khitab, got an award of Ghazi-e-Kashmir. He led Kabali raid that was done from the Afridi tribe, which was led by his grandfather into Kashmir just after the independence, which led millions of people died, a lot of people getting raped, killed. This was done by his grandfather. His cousin brother, Sadiq Afridi, in 2003 was killed by BSF in Anantnag. His first cousin was a dreaded terrorist who was eliminated by BSF in Anantnag. Now this Afridi was in 2011, I think he was their captain last time, when India throwed him out of the World Cup. His dream of winning a World Cup from Pakistan got shattered because of India. Next year, he was banned from cricket because of ball tampering. Now the same Afridi went to Azad Kashmir on PO cases. I'm great son of this man. I'll liberate, Kashmir and all. That what did happen? His prime minister and his good friend Imran Khan Niazi said, now Taliban will help us liberate the Kashmir. He was the one who supported Taliban. He was the one who said Taliban have broken the shackles in Afghanistan and they will liberate Afghanistan. When you have such a dispensation and talking of his personal life, that's none of my business. Look at his mindset, Uday. He does not allow his daughters. In May last year, I think 2019, he announced he will not allow his daughters to step out of the house. He has 5 daughters. They cannot step out of the house or they cannot play any outdoor games. He says, this is my mindset. Now this jihadi kind of a mindset, this Wahhabi mindset, whose grandfather, brothers, and this is what he thinks about his own daughters. They cannot step out of their own house and play outdoor game. And he is going to talk about cricket and he's going to talk about literacy. What is his, how much is his, what is his literacy level? I think he claims he's a 10th pass or 12th pass as per Pakistani board. That too, I don't know, maybe he printed a certificate at his home. Now these countries are literate, they are smart, they have intelligence, they know what is the threat perception. What is humiliating to them is when New Zealand came there and went away. If they would have not come, still they would have lived with that, that slur. But when they come and they leave 2 days before the match, that puts Pakistan in a very decimal state. Because we landed there, then our government had to pull us back, had to evacuate us. Remember what they did to Sri Lankan team? Uday, what happened to Sri Lankan team in Pakistan was an ambush. One is an attack. Attack is somebody can attack you, it's okay. That can still happen. We can give it a benefit of doubt. But when people encircle you and attack you, that is ambush. If ambush happened to Sri Lankan team, what was Pakistani ISI doing? What was Pakistani military doing? What were those so-called Pakistani commandos doing? You claim we have commandos? What were they? Ghas kaat rahe the kya? What were they doing? If an ambush can happen on a foreign team on your soil, that time Sri Lankans were lucky they survived. This time New Zealanders or Britishers may not be lucky. So their governments, their sane governments, because पढ़े लिखे लोग हैं ना वो, they are not illiterates like Pakistanis, they are not madrasa educated like Pakistanis, they are not jihadis like Pakistanis, they are literate people. They got the threat perception, their investigations or their intelligence agency validated it and advised their respective governments. That is what happens in civilized democracy. It's not a mullah military brigade that runs the government. So their structure told them, look, there's a threat there. New Zealand had to evacuate its team. England was smart enough not to send its team. And what to blame on India? What is wrong with Afridi? And what has India got to do with this? You are a known terrorist system. Kamala Harris told you 2 days back, you are harboring terrorists there. Your Prime Minister supports Taliban. All nefarious characters of the world are found there. The world's biggest terrorist, Osama bin Laden, is found in your military camp and your Prime Minister calls him Shaheed. And now you blame India for what? You have lost your sense, you have lost your proportion. The only pain is Afridi is paranoid with India. दादा से लेके पौधे तक कश्मीर का ख्वाब लेके पैदा हुए, कश्मीर का ख्वाब लेके ही जाएंगे. His personal humiliation from his dada, his brother, he's being thrown out of the World Cup, he's being banned for life, is because of India. So his pain for India is natural. बहुत तकलीफ होती है इसको. And when that तकलीफ reaches his head and clouds his imagination, he comes with all kinds of absurd statements. So at best, he's a clown in Pakistan politics, which world likes to hear to, but laughs him away.
But do you believe then, Sumit, very quickly that these
said whenever there's a terrorist attack in the world, उसके तार कहीं ना कहीं पाकिस्तान से जुड़ते हैं. This is your ex-president. It's not what I'm alleging. So when you are only export this terrorism, when you are known to be a terrorist state, why to blame India? And I don't want to get I don't want to get a bit tough with them. Otherwise, there are a lot of things I can talk about. But these Pakistanis have this Indian paranoia. They have this Hindu hatred which has gone into their blood. They have wasted 7 generations and 70 years doing this. Now, if the world is snubbing them, now, Uday, do you think MI6 or New Zealand intelligence takes inputs from you or Sunday Guardian? No, they do their own assessment. But you, as a responsible channel, and Sunday Guardian as a responsible publication, will speak the truth. If truth is irking you, if truth is paining you, blame your karma. Blame your karma. Get your karma right. Stop breeding terrorists. Nobody else can help you. Today, people are not visiting you. Tomorrow, there will be soon a time when no Pakistani will get a visa for any country to visit. This is a lesson to them. And Fawad Chaudhry and Sheikh Rashid come on a national TV and blame India and blame Sunday Guardian. Arey, sharam to karo, bhai. Matlab, kahin to sharam karo. I mean, you think people on the world are fools? We have nothing to do with us. We are a third biggest military power, fifth biggest economy, 3 by GDP. And what are we going to go do with a bankrupt Pakistan? It's a decimal state. Even us interfering with Pakistani cricket is, insult to us. Look at where our cricket board is, multi-billion-dollar cricket board, and this Pakistan cricket board is not worth 500 crores. It is हमारी शान के खिलाफ है वहाँ interfere भी करना भाई. क्यों करेंगे? हमें ज़रूरत क्या है? What are you? Who are you? Come on. Excuse me. Wake up. You are nobody.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, let me get in Dikit Bhattacharya as well.
When Pashtun women are killed in the broad daylight, no problem. When millions of Muslims who are Pakistanis were lining at your door, Pashtuns that save us from Taliban, you did not open your doors, but to the influential people who can pay money to your generals and colonels, for them the doors open. You were the first ones who said, the roads of Afghanistan blocked, we cannot take any more refugees. You are the people who want to intervene in France. You are the people who want to intervene in Azerbaijan and Armenia. You are the people who want to intervene between Greece and Turkey. But what happens in your own country? You've decimated the minorities. Your minorities are reduced to 1%, 1.2%. Temples are being, burnt every day. Minorities are being killed. 1,000, more than 1,000 Hindu girls are forcibly converted. That is what Human Rights Commission of Pakistan says. It's not what I'm alleging. The things on the ground are horrific. You have an inflation of 450% on atta and dal. Your foreign exchange reserves are all-time low. You don't have even money to pay your, to run electricity in Pakistan. Now we have seen 35% blackouts happening. Now with this known state and who is Lashkar-e-Toiba and who is Hafizi, there are NGOs in Pakistan. Uday, you and me call them and UN calls them international designated terrorists. There are NGOs in Pakistan. बहुत मोज़िज़ शायरी है, बहुत शरीफ लोग हैं. And when this is the repute you have, you're the first ones to say Taliban has liberated Afghanistan from the shackles. Now, why do you blame India? This is what you have been doing. Your foreign policy is based on export of international terrorism. The world's most dreaded terrorist is in your Abbottabad, Kent, and he's making babies there. When Lakwi was locked up, he was making babies in the jail. Now, you blame India. Go and blame your karma. You have been doing this. Now this is coming to hit you, bite you, and it'll finish you. You've become a vassal state of China because of your own deeds. Both the countries got independence together. Where are we? Where are you? It's same day. $700 billion of foreign exchange reserve. You don't have 3. Where is our stature? Where is our military power? Where is our international clout? Takleef to ye hai when Modi ji goes to USA, the whole international media and the national media is covering this summit, the biggest bilateral in the globe. And for Imran Khan, Niazi, Taliban, Biden doesn't even answer his phone. But President Biden has not even spoken to him since all these months he took power. That is where your stature is. You blame India? What are you going to blame India for? I don't want to be more direct. Otherwise, there are a lot of things I can talk about. किस के लिए हमें दोष करोगे? Go and look inside. Stop breeding those terrorists. Stop breeding jihad. Stop being an epicenter of global jihad. Then you have a way. Else, you as a country are doomed. You will break up into 4 parts as a matter of time. And what is happening in your Gwadar? I heard that Chinese want to settle 1 million Han Chinese in Gwadar. Why Chinese are marrying in lakhs of local Pakistani girls? Why you're not bothered about them? What is your stature at the international level? Why people are snubbing you? Why you are being snubbed across? Why you are not giving visas of any country? Go and ask your Imran Khan. He said he will return all the IMF's money. Where is the money to return? What do you contribute to the world economy except international terror? What is your contribution to the globe except international terror? You are the biggest menace of the world. You are responsible for the rise of Taliban and you have to pay for it. It's a matter of time. You have to pay. You will be humiliated again and again and again and again. And you can blame us for anything to everything, but that is water on duck's back. Go try your luck.
Okay, let me try and see if the
Dulhan mandap pe baithiye, dulha bhag gaya. It's as bad as that because New Zealand snubbed them. They came there just one day before. They had to be evacuated. Those useless Pakistani commandos and the army, whatever cover they were given, because the threat remains, they were fearing one of them might go and attack them. The attack will not come from an external thing. One of the protectors may go and attack them. Now, when they are humiliated, when you are snubbed at the international arena, and when your Niazi is calling the Prime Minister of New Zealand, she doesn't answer your phone. And let's not forget how much is the population of New Zealand. What is the stature of New Zealand in the international arena? It's an island. If a smallest island in the Pacific Ocean is snubbing your Prime Minister, Joe Biden is not answering his phone. You are being invited nowhere, except your ISI chief was an unwanted guest in formation of Taliban government. That is what your contribution to the international peace and security has been. Now your people will start questioning you. And let's not forget this. Imran Khan has been the cricketer. He has been the epitome of Pakistani cricket. He is in power because of cricket.
That's quite interesting. That's quite interesting, Sumit. What you're saying is, despite the fact that he is a star cricketer leading the country, there is still no cricket happening in Pakistan.
Correct. Right, sir. You're Pakistan, Oxford educated, speaking this fluent English and having that British accent. It is not working. His shame is fading away. People are snubbing him in his own game. It's like you are getting hit or in your backyard. Because of cricket, you are the Prime Minister of Pakistan, and because of cricket only, and in your tenure, teams are leaving your country. Nobody wants to come to your country. Nobody trusts you as a cricketer. Nobody trusts you as a Prime Minister. Nobody trusts your security forces to do anything.
Yeah.
That is the epitome of things. Disaster.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. General Sehgal,
arena, Ramiz Raja is the, I think, chairman of the Pakistan Cricket Board. He says, "Hum New Zealanders se paise lenge." I mean, is it about money? Can any amount of money buy your respect? You've been humiliated at the international stage. What is the price tag for it? I mean, maybe somebody from India will send a check if you want to get humiliated again. Mother, does your respect has a dollar amount? What do you mean by we'll ask New Zealanders to give us the money? I mean, international snubbing, where we put in dollars.
Yes.
This is the most humiliating part, and that too in cricket. And your Prime Minister is ex-cricket.
Okay. Well, we've run out of time.